Well, let's be fair. Today we'll be talking about the best smartwatch, the best budget smartwatch the money can buy. And basically within €200, 200 bucks or 200 great British pounds, you get yourself an amazing smartwatch. In fact, it is the biggest upgrade I've seen to a smartwatch in a very, very long time. Basically, you get 154 sport modes, 8 auto-recognized activities. This thing can actually auto-track your strength activities. So be it squats, dumbbell curls, pull-ups, push-ups. This thing is amazing. Then you go to the app and you can actually see the muscle groups being activated. This watch takes the leap forward, so away from the beta mode and taking you to a real live release of live broadcasts. So you can hear alerts and notifications while sports from the speaker are going directly to your earbuds, which are connected via Bluetooth with the watch. On top of that, this watch takes sleep to the next level. So we're used to watches basically measuring the length of your 3 sleep stages: your deep, light, and REM sleep. Well, this bad boy here actually takes it to a whole new level. It looks at the quality of your sleep, but not based on something out there and some kind of logic where you're going to see just some points. No, it looks at your sleep quality, looking at it from the heart rate, so your resting heart rate, as well as breathing quality and rate of breathing during sleep. This is absolutely great. There is a lot to talk about in this review. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about the strength of this bad boy. So first of all, it is a completely one slab of aluminium alloy right here. So the watch case is solid. You will be happy to know that the lugs are actually metal as well. Now, I know this is supposed to be a silver sort of colored watch case, but I do get the gist that it's sort of bronzy in a little bit. It's a bit beige, so it makes it look much more interesting. It's absolutely great. I love the fact that you've got your 22mm quick release straps on here, and if you're unsure about the strap size, just turn your watch over and it will actually tell you on the proprietary straps what size of a strap is it. You can actually get the black silicone, as I've got right here, or you can go for material strap. So it's really nice to your skin, but I just don't see it because, well, you're obviously going to do sports in it. With this one, it's so easy. You put it under the water, you give it a good wash, and you're done. But with the canvas strap, well, I'm just not sure. I think it's just going to get sweaty and stinky, so I'm just not sure. Then, of course, you can get a leather strap. So you get a brown leather strap, which is quite nice. I actually do like the leather straps coming from AMAZFIT. They're not cheapo. They're actually quite wearable. They do look premium. And pretty much it. But again, if you're going to be using this watch more of an exercise watch, I doubt you'll want to always click on and click off your quick release strap. Most likely you'd use the one that you've got on here all the time. So I find that most practical of all of these is silicone, and this is actually really nice. It's soft, but it's rather thick. I can't say there's too much ventilation here. Now, I didn't exercise too much in this watch yet. I've had it for about 4 days, and I've already pumped up around 65 pi points. So I've been doing some exercises, and I can't see that my wrist is getting too sweaty during those exercises, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's too ventilated either. So I think if it did have a bit more holes on the side, that would have been better. But anyways, not bad at all. What I really want to talk about now, though, is the rotating crown, because over the last year or so, everybody's, well, Apple, of course, then we had Huawei, then we had Honor, now we have Amazfit, and Samsung's coming out with these rotatable crowns. Now, I found them to be a complete and utter gimmick, and everybody who's been watching my channel knows that I wasn't a fan, because I think it's more of a stylistic sort of feature. It looks nice, it's sort of cool, not very user-friendly. On the Huawei, I had quite serious mishaps, is that every time I would sort of do something with my wrist, I'd tap on that rather large button and it would stop my exercise or start an exercise, and it was just, yeah, I wasn't enjoying it. But finally, I'm not gonna say that Amazfit has heard my pleas because I'm not a big channel, but they've actually done something really cool. So they've reduced the size of this crown to make it actually, well, it's not even sticking up from the top side of the actual watch case. So it is rather small, and it's getting smaller as you get away from the watch case. That's amazing. They've added a bit of red on the tip, which I think is, well, sporty, sort of. And then, of course, the actual crown does have this black and rubberized, well, almost like a tread design, right? So it's like a racing car. So I see what they're trying to do there. I think it looks awesome. I like it. It's very much usable. You give it a push, you go into your menus, and it's just so easy to twirl around. It doesn't get in the way of things. Love it. And then, of course, they did go down the Samsung way, because the bottom button is actually close fit to the actual watch case, which again is quite cool. So Samsung did get it right. It looks great and it doesn't get in the way of things. But anyways, enough about the buttons. We talked about the lugs, which are metal. Good stuff, Amazfit. Now let's go to the underside. So you're going to see quite a few things here. First of all, you are going to see a microphone. So you do get an inbuilt microphone, and that leads us to a conversation about Bluetooth calls. So you can't stick your eSIM or physical SIM into the watch. You simply can't do that. But what you can do is, if you connect your watch via Bluetooth to your smartphone, you've got an inbuilt microphone as well as an inbuilt speaker, and you can actually talk to, well, anyone really, on your watch as you walk. So let's say you don't want to pull out your phone. That's great. That's okay now, because what you can do is just pull out your watch, click answer call, and just talk into your wrist. Personally, I don't like walking around and talking so everybody can hear what the other person is saying on the other side, but you know, it's something new. Well, it's been around technically, but I think it's now to a new level. Like, the sound quality on this watch is absolutely great. And of course, the speaker is not just for, you know, talking and hearing the other person on the other line. No, it's also about giving you live broadcasts from the sport activities that you're currently doing, which is great. But we'll talk about it in the sport features and functionality later in this video. So I'll tell you about how to further use your microphone, inbuilt Alexa, what you can do with it, and so forth. Anyways, so this is pretty much the design. If you look underneath the watch, well, on the underside it's glossy black plastic, which is nice. Again, right, it's better than the dull gray plastic, so it's, again, it's shiny black. Does it look that much more premium than Samsung or Apple? No, it doesn't, because there they use a ceramic back, which is really nice. It's much more premium. But there you do pay way more than you pay for this watch. Now, I should probably mention the dimensions of the watch. So what you get here is 46 by 46 millimeters. Well, that's actually pretty good. So it's slightly larger than the average watch. It's not the 42 to 43 millimeter, it's 46. But again, I've got a medium sized wrist, more on the slender side actually, and the watch still looks pretty good. This watch is really feather light. 34 grams, that is very light. It's only slightly heavier than a fitness tracker. So again, really happy about that. Anyways, now let's talk about the actual display. Not a lot to say, but some things you should be aware of. Right, so what about the display? Well, here we have a 1.43 inch AMOLED display. Resolution here, 466 by 466 pixels. And that is great. It's giving us a 326 ppi, which is again a great resolution on a smartwatch. So the screen is large. The contrast here is absolutely great. The blacks are real deep blacks, like it's absolutely awesome. Now, you've got over 200 animated faces, but there's a big but that I wanted to discuss with you. Basically, there are around 30-40 odd which are free, but now Amazfit is going out, well, these animated faces, modular faces, etc., you gotta pay for them. So if you want the really cool designs, they're not much. They're about like, I don't know, a quid each. So I'm guessing in the States it'd be $1 each, and in Europe they'll be like euro each. But seriously, paying anywhere from £1 to £2, or basically 1 to 2 units of any currency, I don't know, is it fair? Because you mostly get them for free. So I'm just not sure about that whole thing. But anyway, we are where we are. So you do get some free faces, and some of them are pretty cool. Well, some of them are just the ordinary ones. So I wouldn't be paying for faces, but again, it's wholly up to you. If we continue with the display on this watch, you will be happy to know that first of all, it's tempered glass. So it's not going to protect you from the big drops from like the second floor of a house. No, but it will protect you from the usual wear and tear. Now you also get an anti-reflective coating here. That's pretty cool. So it does help you see what's written on there basically in any light conditions, even if it's super bright. And you also get an anti-fingerprint coating, which that's pretty cool as well. To be fair, there is so much to talk about because the sheer amount of upgrades that has been done to this watch is just, it's stupendous. Anyways, now we're gonna get to the most exciting bit about this video. We'll be talking about the features and functions, and we're not gonna talk about the basic functionality. We are not touching things like, oh, there's an alarm now, or a stopwatch. No, we don't discuss things like that here. We look at the real stuff. We don't even talk about the 24/7 heart rate monitoring. We know it's there. We know there's a stress monitor there. Yep. But we talk about the accuracy of those things. And for example, I do have a heart rate accuracy video coming out after a 40-minute F45, so that's a HIIT workout with this watch versus a Polar H10 ECG chest strap. So we do talk about the heart rate monitoring in terms of accuracy. We don't just read things off the box and say, wow, this watch has to be very accurate because Amazfit claims so, and because it's got 6 gear positioning systems on it. Well, yeah, we're gonna test it, right? But of course, the features here, such as importing routes to your watch, so something very similar to what the Phoenix series does from Garmin, right? Or Polar. Well, actually, you can download routes to this watch, or you can create routes. So you basically choose a starting point, you do your walking, running, let's say in a forest like I am now, and then it draws it live in real time on your watch, so you can see where you are, and then you can find your way back. But again, that is something really cool. It's only been added to this watch. We didn't see it on any prior Amazfit models. So first of all, 150 plus sport modes. Well, the plus is actually 4. So there's 154 sport modes in this watch, which is actually quite a lot. So 150 sport modes is plenty. Now 8 of these sport modes are actually auto-recognized. So that means you start doing an activity such as walking, your watch will say, hey, I think you're walking, and it's going to start recording it simply because you forgot to actually put it into workout mode. So when you go and choose the strength exercise sport mode, this watch will be able to track 25 different activities such as squats, dumbbell curls, pull-ups, push-ups, and so forth. Now, there is more to talk about in regards to sports. So the fact is, we did mention there's 6 gear positioning systems here, and Amazfit does claim that now it's 99% as accurate as, well, basically a GPS meter, GPS monitor. Now, you do know that Amazfit, just like any other smartwatch brand out there, they do make all their exercises and sport modes goal-based. Well, we know that over the last year or so, as well as Samsung, there's been a slight addition to the goal-based metrics. Well, what is goal-based? Goal-based means that you can set a goal for your workout, such as time to do an exercise, calories to be burned during a particular exercise, or a distance to be walked, run, cycled, and so forth. Well, now, Amazfit have taken a leap forward. It's not about just telling you the alerts, right? Because we know, we've seen this on Samsung, we've seen this on Huawei, where, yeah, there are alerts, of your during your exercise, such as, oh well, you're sort of within the specified heart rate zone, right? Okay, so you sort of within, and you do have your pace alerts, but we've seen all of that previously. What this watch actually offers now is something new. So if we go into outdoor running, and let's go into settings, you go into assistant, you get your workout goals, where you choose your goals. You've got your workout alerts, such as a safe heart rate zone, distance, fastest pace, slowest pace, max cadence, min cadence, your time, your calories. Now you also get a reminder to drink water so you don't get dehydrated. And this is very simply done. How? Well, via live broadcast. So basically the watch will tell you now, either through the speaker, or if you're connected to the actual watch via earbuds, it will tell you that, mate, please drink some water. You've been cycling for like 20 minutes. You're probably dehydrated. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, you can also get a signal here. You basically say return in 20 minutes. So you know that you'll be at your halfway point in 20 minutes, and the watch will tell you time to return home. So again, it's a great time management tool, but it takes your exercises to a whole new level. Another awesome thing here is that with this watch you can finally set up intermittent trainings, right? So something like with HIIT workouts, I know that every 30 seconds I'm gonna get like a 15-second break, and then I'm back into an exercise. So let's say there's a set of 8 exercises, then there's a resting time of about a minute, and then I'm back into it. But usually just setting these up on watches is inconvenient, or you just can't do it, and you have to find an app to actually do it on your phone. Well, no need anymore. You've got the watch to help you through that. Another awesome feature. Now, I do love my budget smartwatches, but quite a few people in the comments below the videos have always, well, not moaned, but I do understand their complaints. Basically, you couldn't sync the watches from Huawei or Honor or Amazfit for that matter to things like Strava. You just couldn't. You couldn't sync to other running apps. Well, the AMAZFIT GTR4 can actually sync to both Strava and Adidas running. How awesome is that? So you do get the premium functionality now, but again for a fraction of the price. But again, you're just getting so much more with this watch. Now, another really cool thing about this particular watch is its battery size. So if you do use it actively and you have GPS on quite a few times a week, maybe a couple of times per day, so basically heavy usage, 5 days. Well, Amazfit does claim 7, but you do get 5 days. So I've fully charged it up just when I bought it on Tuesday afternoon. I've actually bought this in Spain for 199 euros, but you can get it for 199 pounds or about 200 bucks as well. So it's usually quite similar prices across the globe. But anyways, so that's why I switched it on. I started using it quite actively, obviously getting prepared for the review, doing exercises or tracking my workouts, my sleep, and so forth. And today being the fourth, no, well, hold on, today's the 5th day, and I'm on 27%. So it's really quite good. But I guess if you would be using it more actively in regards to GPS especially, and if you also had always on display, you would be pretty much down to your last percentage points on this battery. Anyways, but you can actually use this watch if you're not even health minded. You just like the look of it because it does look sort of vintagey, sporty. It looks like a classic watch, but with a great design. The fact is, you can just have it in clock mode, and that's where you just have the watch telling you what time it is and calculating your steps. That's it. And it can last you for up to 50 days. Can you imagine that? That's over 6 weeks. You're basically out there just using the watch for what they were originally used for, just seeing what time it is. If we start with the basics, well, yeah, it does monitor 3 sleep stages, so your light, your deep, and REM sleep. But that's just the start of it. But think about it, that's the start, even though that's very advanced as it is. Now, you do get a sleep score at the end of your sleep, which is great. So it tells you about, okay, let's say you got 80 points, and you will see a chart of your resting heart rate above or sort of on top of the sleep stages chart. And you don't only see that in the app, you also see it on the watch face, so you don't need to go to the app. What you do need to go to the app for is for those extra features, which I'll tell you about. What's that? Anyway, I'll tell you about right now. So the fact is, as you know, when you just set up the watch, you can actually set up a sleep schedule of sorts. Alright, so you can tell your watch, well, I usually go to sleep at around, let's say, 11 p.m. or midnight, and I wake up at about 7 a.m. And that's pretty cool. That's, you tell your watch, so it will notify you, let's say it's 11 p.m. or quarter to. It will sort of vibrate and tell you, oh, it's time to go to sleep. Well, yeah, but for me, for example, I've got one schedule during the week because I work. And then, of course, on the weekends, so on Friday, I do try to get a bit more rest. So on Saturday, Sunday, well, you know, works out differently if you go out. And then, of course, on Sunday night, going into Monday, I want to be back on track with good quality sleep to get ready for work. Well, this watch actually brings a lot of customization, and you can actually schedule your sleep across different days of the week. So I haven't seen this on any other tracker or smartwatch out there. This is a really great feature. So it does allow you that customization to your personal habits and just, well, how you do things. That's awesome. Now, that's not all. Now, if we talk about going to the app and looking at the more stats, we're talking about sleep quality. And sleep quality here on this watch is based on your breathing quality as well as your breathing rate during your sleep. Now, what I like about that is when you go to your app, you will see buckets of where, so for example, they do expect that your normal breathing rate, if you're 66 or under, is somewhere between 11 and 16 breaths per minute. So you will see the chart where you are. You can see it on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, monthly, yearly, well, depending on how many data points you've got in there. Then, of course, you've got your breathing quality, and of course you got the different buckets again, and will tell you where you're doing well, where it's not so good. And of course, this is not just a pretty picture. This is actually very useful, because if there is a problem, it's a symptom of some condition, most likely a respiratory condition, so something that needs to be checked out by the doctor. Otherwise, you just wouldn't know about this. So here again, this is a close connection to your SpO2 levels, right? Blood oxygen saturation, which of course this watch does monitor 24/7. So you get all these metrics, all these stats that will help you understand your body, not only while you're active during the day, but also while you're asleep. And that is not just super cool, it's super useful, because it does and it can actually save lives. So a big congratulations to AMAZFIT to doing something really technical, really good, in a really nice way, because it looks really awesome on your app and for such a budget price. Anyways, let's cover off a couple more features and functions, and we'll be finishing off, because this video is dragging on, because there's just so much to talk about in regards to this watch. We talked about it. AMAZFIT is known for its customizations. Well, with the watch, you can actually adjust how vivid or how more subsided you like to see your colors on your display, right? You can choose whether you want to see them in clusters, so sort of that Samsung/Apple view, or do you want them to be basically in a list and you can scroll up and down using the rotatable crown. So that's pretty cool. You obviously do get Pi on here, so your personal activity index. Now, I've actually done a particular video about Pi and how it works. So this is this super system, which is basically a single value which tells you all about your respiratory and cardiovascular health, right? So it takes into account your sleep, it takes into account your number of steps, as well as the intensity at which you perform activities during workouts, right? And basically, based on that activity and the intensity at which you perform the activity, it gives you points. So these Pi points, personal activity index. And The rule of thumb is that if you get during a week, because these points are actually accumulated over the past week, as long as your Pi points are over 100, you're 25% less prone to getting heart disease in the long term. So this is such a good indicator of where you're at in regards to health. So first of all, you have an indication of, okay, so 100 is sort of the minimum I should strive for. The more, the merrier. And it's also such a great indicator of, well, have you done enough exercises at a particular, well, in a particular 7-day time frame. It's got all the other metrics like we talked about it: 24/7 heart rate monitoring, stress monitoring, SpO2 monitoring. You've got a lot of apps on here that you might need, like your weather app, your breathe app. You've got your barometer, you've got your compass. It tells you your sun and moon phases. Well, if you're into that, you probably do need that. You've got your Pomodoro tracker. You can do voice memos on here, so that is quite a cool feature. Actually, I do like that, because sometimes I go out walking in parks and I actually sort of note down some of the things I want to mention about a particular wearable. So this is very convenient indeed. You've got your camera remote. Now, I was never a fan of these, but some people are, so again, you've got it here. Anyways, let's stop with this high-level overview, well, in some cases quite an insightful review, I hope, of the AMAZFIT GTR4. Personally, I haven't seen anything that comes close to it in terms of functionality, in terms of battery life, in terms of sport features, as well as looks, because this thing looks amazing. And just the feel of it on your wrist, and the attention it gets from others. I do like it. So it is pretty cool, it's sporty, it looks almost like a classic Swiss watch with like striking looks. Anyways, this is the AMAZFIT GTR4. If you did enjoy the review, please drop me a like. If you want to see more of the same, if you want to see the heart rate accuracy test, if you want to see the GPS accuracy test, you know what to do. Please hit the red subscribe button below the video, and I'll see you in the next one.